Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt. I don't mind saying it. I think goals that's what we work for. And, to be where we are is just a tribute to the coaches and the players and all the hard work that's been put in. And, I told them, I said, we're here now. So, our expectations are super high. But there's nothing given about it. And that would be the worst thing that could happen to us. And I was talking to him about social media, and y'all know I do social media. I think there's a great message that we put out on our Twitter and these other things, whether we're talking about Children's Harbor or just things that we believe in. Yesterday versus where we were last week, and that's why I always say I don't know how a football coach could ever get arrogant, because you're a genius when you win, you're an idiot when you lose, and so last week, and our fans are great, but it's the fact that we lost to a team that we were supposed to beat. And now this week we're great. So we've got to stay out of that and stay in the middle and just do our job. But, yeah, I don't think there's any reason not to talk about that because that's a huge deal, really just in college football. And I don't want to, I'm not really bragging on myself, but our guys to be in this position to have this opportunity, which is what it is an opportunity. But I think it's a big deal, and they need to know about it.
When you have a guy that plays quarterback like that, as a defensive guy, when you're going against a guy like that, how frustrating it is when it looks like you haven't stopped, and like the one where you spun out the other day and dove
Sure.
First down.
Yeah, we lived in that nightmare 2 weeks ago. I think everything we do, and for years I said that, I went back to days when I was a high school coach and I was talking to the top defensive minds in the country. I said, what do you do when the quarterback can really throw it and really run it? And I don't know that they had seen a lot of that. They'd seen option guys and they'd seen guys that could throw it, not the dual threat guy. I said, well, that's the world we live in every day in high school because he's usually the best athlete on the team. That changed quickly, and I think, that was one of those things that kind of moved from the high school ranks up where we, and especially for me when I determined we could run the spread and still run the option. And really we were doing all those things in high school that trickled up to college. But it is how we want to build our quarterback always. We always want a guy who's an athlete, who can run, who can stay alive. AJ, just tough, made plays, can be a running back when he needs to be a running back. But, some of the runs he made, some of the plays he made in that game were just tremendous. And we put a lot on him, and we do all our quarterbacks. But, whether you're talking about him, you're talking about Tyler or Ben or those guys, we want a guy that can run and be an athlete. But from a defensive standpoint, I've always said when you've got that too, it's defending 12 guys. It's the one quotient that you can't, it's hard to factor in. Now we try and defend it the way we rush and all that, but it's the X factor.
When your own team, when your team sees, it's one thing that the Charlotte guy was kind of running away from you, but when you have a quarterback that runs through guys and ducks his head every now and again, so probably you don't like a whole lot. But
right.
But for just kind of getting your team going, how much does that get your team going when they see their quarterback?
It's huge. When your leader does it and is not too good to do it, to me it says everything about who we want to be. And somebody said, that looked like your defense. That looked like, and I said, yeah, that looks like what we want it to look like. And I think he's the embodiment of what we want our quarterback to do, to play like. Coach Kenning does a great job of talking about toughness and, you got to sit in the pocket and all those things, and I think he shows that for us.
You talk about bowl eligibility, so you got to talk about it. It's important, but to be one win away, from the start of the season and just to be right there, I guess how much extra motivation is that going to be for your guys heading into this week to know that,
sure,
hey, if they come away with this win, then it's a huge accomplishment.
Yeah, I think it's I think anything that creates a better practice. I've always said that. How, what is the oomph that makes you have a better Tuesday, or the better Wednesday, or gets you through a drill, or because we work them really hard. We think we work smart, but we feel like you play just like you practice. So if you have great practice, then you should play well. And what creates a great practice? And I think those are the things I'm looking for. What motivates them? What motivates me? What gets you here at 5 a.m. and staying late is the opponent, the next game, all those things. But just having that carrot out there is a big deal, and it's a big deal. And, I've told them in the history of college football, just to be sitting where we are, not to put more pressure on them, but just to say, wow, you've got a chance to do something really special.
Spencer obviously had another huge Is anything that guy does surprise
You know, I want to say not really, but then, you know, you see some of the runs he might. I mean, we're kind of getting where we expect this out of him. And I think one of the big things that happened to him the week before, you know, he had pulled a muscle on his shoulder, and we just took care of him all week, and he was a little beat up and bruised. And so, and give, you know, the opponent we play, you know, Charlotte credit. You know, I mean, he still played well, but he didn't play up to what he thought was his standards. And I think he was motivated. You know, and we were laughing after the game, and he was sitting over here, and I'm talking to him that, you know, why did you play good? You were motivated. You had a chip on your shoulder, and that's what you got to keep as a player. And I think as a coach as well in preparation. And I think great thing about him, he's a humble kid. He thanks his linemen, but yeah, we're starting to expect big things out of this guy.
You coached Jordan Howard at a little different time in his career than Spencer is now, but do you see similarities in those two?
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. Strong, yards after contact, vision. Really good here. You know, there's a few little different things, but, you know, he's a year behind him too. So, you know, hopefully he keeps progressing. And I think that's the knock we just keep having, you know, that we do a good job blocking up front and making holes for him, and he keeps finding those holes. But they are very similar, and both really quiet kids. You know, Jordan Howard was super quiet. You know, I think probably some people may have mistook that, you know, earlier. And just an intelligent guy. And, you know, I've told that story how the light kind of came on with him. It was kind of like our second week when I challenged him, and we challenged him about getting in real shape, and he responded and then became, you know, who he became. But just very similar kids.
When you have a guy like you did with Spencer the other night, where you in fourth quarter when you're trying to pull away a little bit, but you're also trying, I mean, it was still close at the time. I mean, you gave him the ball, I think, 13 out of 17 plays or whatever. When you have a guy you can do that with, kind of how good is that, I guess?
Yeah, I think it's great. You know, people say, well, he gets better as the game goes on. What we want is he stays the same, and they get tired of tackling him. They get tired of our physicality up front. And I don't think things happen by accident. I think the way we preach physicality, the way we preach that, yeah, we're going to throw the ball and we're going to spread you out, but we're still going to be able to run the ball. You know, and that doesn't just happen. You have to work at it in practice. You have to do inside drill. You have to have a good O-line coach and guys with the tight ends and all. You know, so it's just not a one-man show. But I think just him maintaining and how strong he is, and he just, you know, I keep looking for him. He's not tired out there, and hopefully we've rested him throughout the game, so he is really at his best in the fourth quarter.
Does it help too when you're resting him and you have a guy like Donnie Lee who's also beating people up when he,
right?
You know, I mean, how much does that help you think?
Yeah, you know, I said this early on. You know, there's never in today's game it's two running backs, and we play 3 and 4. It's two running backs just because the number of snaps. It's just like if you look at D-line. I mean, those guys really, it's almost like who goes out on the field first. Now, as the game goes, those reps kind of go to your guy, but Donnie Lee is going to get better. I mean, you're talking about a physical specimen. I mean, he's 6'2", you know, close to 6'2", whatever he is, 230 pounds, and can run like a deer. You know, I mean, so he's a pretty good specimen too. He's learning to be a running back.
So the Miss got that first big play, and they had a couple of drives early, but after that, the defense really clamped down. What kind of adjustments have y'all been making? Because second half, y'all been holding the opponents about 25% on third down conversions and not letting them score in the second half. What kind of adjustments have y'all been making?
I can't give you all my secrets, but no, I would just say that I think for us a lot of it is more of the same and or reiteration that that's exactly what we're doing. You know, let's just go all the way back to North Texas. It's not the call. It's you. It's us. It's the intensity. It's the urgency. How we practice in the getting ready for the second half is. I mean, that is a sense of pride for me. What do we look like third quarter, fourth quarter? Because then it's about toughness and heart and all the things I think are important in a team. I do think we make a few adjustments, but, you know, I've said after the game, I wish I had some magic that I could tell you that we did in the second half, but really it was we're going to turn it on. We're going to play harder. You know, the first, you know, and I said this, it was kind of weird that first play because we had worked that play. They mixed the number 2 receiver in the back, and instead of going out, he went vertical. And give them credit, you know, they kind of found something that kind of messed us up. And we had worked it over and over and over because they had done it before, just not quite like that. But there was no panic. And I, you know, as bad as that was, I just didn't feel terrible, which told me that I was excited about how we looked before the game, the week of preparation, that it was, okay, next play. And I think we played like that. But give our defensive coaches and our players credit for how they played the second half.
Given what happened at Charlotte, does that make it any easier for them to really hear you when you tell them to not pay too much attention to?
If it doesn't, something's wrong. And I kept trying to say that all week. And I said this. I told them this morning. I said, you had a good week of practice for Charlotte. We had some guys bunged up and some other things. Our energy going out was terrible. Even though we were up at halftime, it was still bad. No matter what the stands looked like. I mean, we could play in a parking lot. I mean, it wouldn't matter, in my opinion. But I think this morning, it was just seriousness. They know that doesn't hurt us. And I just said we're 0-0, they're 0-0. Same thing we said when we come out of the second half, we're leading. That's just an illusion. It's 0-0. So that's exactly how we feel. All you got to do is cut the dang tape on. If they're bigger than we are, they can run. They're right here in every game, and we're going to get their best. I mean, just give them guys credit. I mean, I don't know what a 1-7 team looks like, but it doesn't look like that. And that's not coach talk. I mean, you can just look it up. But there's not a lot separating any of us. So I think they see it, they know it, they've been through it. That locker room afterwards, all those things. So we just got to have a really, really good week.
Do you feel like you guys have played a complete game, or are you still looking for that?
No, I don't. I think we're still got. You were finding things. We had a snap the other night. We're checking a play and we snapped the ball. Just little bitty details. And granted, we get more reps and we do more things and we're doing a lot of good things. But just whether it's a low snap on a field goal or and things we work every single day, and things are going to happen, and I get that, and we've got to go to the next play. But no, we're far from where we want to be.